friends, you are here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch. Let me clean off my screen a little bit. That's better. So if you looked in the description, we're here not only for the letter K in Witchcraft and Herbal Alchemy, but we are also here for a thrift haul of 2 items and an international grocery haul, both for Witchcraft, and then I wanted to talk to you guys about that. So let's wait for a couple folks to come on. Good morning, Katie Ross. So nice to see you. Sasquatch! It's just a funny thing to say, isn't it? Lily Verdis, nice to see, excuse me, Lady Vardis. Nice to see you. Vardis. Good morning. So there's only 4 for the letter K. There's only 4. But, we'll get them done quickly, and then we will get on to our haul, and then I want to show you some things that I pulled out of the dehydrator this morning, and, talk about some other stuff. So, thank you. I actually got it for Alex, at Fuego last year, and the shirts, he never wore it. So I was like, do you like your Bob Ross shirt? And he goes, I like it. And I said, but you don't like it on you? And he goes, you want it? And I'm like, yeah. And I also got him some Bob Ross slipper socks, but I don't know where those are. They didn't fit him either. So I always feel bad when I get a gift for somebody and it doesn't work out for them. Thank you. Okay, so for the letter K out of Encyclopedia for Magical Herbs and our morning flashcards, like I say, we only have 2. 3. 1, 2, 3. So let me get to that page in the book and then we'll get started. So first we have Kava Kava. And I use Kava Kava for a long time, even before Witchcraft. Really cool, this stuff. It's kind of like valerian in the way that it's good for relaxation, sleep, anti-anxiety. I'm not a doctor, okay? But the medicinal on Kava Kava, it's really like, a lot of people say that if you take too much, it can kind of act like a stimulant, kind of like cocaine. But I've never seen it that way. Also, you can get Kava Kava tea from places around the world, and it's got more than the legal amount we can get here. So anyway, Kava Kava, the gender is feminine, the planet is Saturn, and the element is water. The powers are visions, protection, and luck. Visions, protection, and luck. And Scotty notes here that it was used a lot in the Polynesian and Hawaiian rites. Okay, Kava Kava. Next we have kelp, which I've always known in Japanese food world as kombu. Both of them are the letter K. And if you go into an Asian grocery store, you can get a big bag of kelp or kombu. And it's going to look like it has white residue on it, like mold. That's sea salt, you know, that's the natural sea salt dried on the outside. Kelp is amazing as like a soup stock to start an Asian soup that way. Kelp, the planet is Jupiter, the element is water, there's no gender, and the powers are travel and protection. Okay, protection, of course, because it's like got that whole sea energy, salt water, salt protection, yeah. And then travel makes sense too because it comes from the ocean, and the oceans are kind of what connects all of our different lands, yeah. So there's kelp, and then the last one we have today is knotweed. Knotweed. The gender is feminine, the planet is Saturn, and the element is earth for knotweed. The powers are binding and health. Binding and health. So that's what we have, and then tomorrow we start with the letter L, and there's quite a few. That's going to be about 15 or 20 in there, and then M is going to be another big letter, but when we did I, J, and K, I, J, and K. They're all real short letters. But we've gotten through that little 3-day hump of shorties, and I hope that you guys are able to either make your own flashcards out of these or note it into your book of shadows, or it inspires you to get this book. Either way, I'm excited to get through all of these with you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and we'll check into our thrift haul and international market haul. So let's do that. And then I have some other things to tell you guys about. So I don't know if you guys saw my video this morning. I said goodbye to Alex at about 3, almost 4 o'clock this morning. And then it'll take him 4 or 5 days to get to Texas. So it's been emotional over here, as you can probably imagine. So let's see. I don't know where to start. We'll start with the thrift haul. And say that I got 2 things at Goodwill. And one of them is for a new thing to add to my graveyard kits. And you can find those on Etsy. My Etsy's below. And that is this big box of vintage glass marbles, which I'm really excited about. Not only for the one that you can see right here. Right? See that marble right there? But there's a bunch of marbles in here, and I'm pretty sure that they're all old. There's one with a dragon on it. So we'll get these open and look at them. But marbles are awesome because when you go and you visit grave sites and you clean them off and you go there to work, do spirit work, etc. I go to really old gravestones and I also visit and I take care of children's graves. And I leave little toys and stuff. And these children that I visit at my local cemetery, that I've been taking care of their graves for years, they died as young children. And they died in the 1800s. So I'm thinking marbles are super appropriate. And even all the way back into the 50s and 60s and 70s, kids were still playing with marbles. If not today, I'm just saying it might not be as popular as it once was. So the marbles, I paid $5 for that set. Again, marbles are worth a little money if you come across some good ones, but to me, the service that they'll provide is definitely worth the $5. So then here, I spent $5 on this. If this works, I'm going to be so shitting excited. It is a spice grinder, and it's made of brass. And I've seen people use these before, and I'm going to test it here with you guys and see if it works. Because obviously I wasn't able to test it in the store, and before I take the tag off and get rid of the receipt, I'm going to test it. So, what you do is, see this beautiful brass? It says made in Albania. That's cool. It's very, very, very pretty. Okay, so we take off the top, and then there's this empty part in the bottom, okay? And then here's like the grinder, and then up here is where you put the spices in. And you turn this crank, and it should crank up some spices and grind them. If this works, I'm going to be so shitting excited. If it doesn't, I get my $5 back. So let me go get some spices. Actually, I have some right here in this bag. I don't need to go anywhere. Those are for something, though. What do I do? What do I do? Oh, well. So I've got some cloves, a clavo. That's a good thing to put in there and see if it works. Let me get some scissors. We'll test this puppy. collect mortar and pestles. I wanted one of these, like, so I don't know if I turn it here like this or up here, so we'll see. See, what there was supposed to be was some kind of crank handle up here, I'm pretty sure. Shit. Damn. Can't do it with your fingers. That's too bad. Man, I really want this to work. Well, I'll see if my mom can't help me figure out how to get it to work. Ah, that's a bummer. But you guys, they do have really cool spice grinders like this. Metal, plastic, whatever, where you just go like this. If I can figure out something to put on the top to make a crank, this will work. If not. Anyway, these are great because it's for the spices that you can't grind up in your mortar and pestle by hand. Like cloves are pretty difficult to do. Sometimes you use for those things like your electric spice grinder. But then your energy is not the intent behind it. That's why I wanted one like this. So that my energy was pushing it, not the energy from the power from the wall. Anyway, if I can get this to work, it'll be a great thrift find either way. That and the marbles are super fun. My international market witchcraft haul, which is where I get a good amount of my spices. Something I have to tell you that I got there, but it's not going to be in the video. The grinder does look really steampunk dark side, you're right. I go there for chicken's feet sometimes if I can't get them from the local farm. But they have things like beef heart, chicken hearts, all this kind of stuff. And so I got beef heart both to dry and use in workings, just like the cow tongue, etc. that I dry and use in workings and sell to you guys on Etsy, etc. If you need those, my Etsy's below. Patreon's below if you want to support the channel. But I got cow heart, both to dry and use for workings of love, generosity, kindness. A cow heart would have so many elements to it. If you've ever had the pleasure of knowing a cow in person, like I did in my childhood, you'd know that it's just such a gentle, kind animal. So, I'm also going to be eating the tongue, okay? Eating the heart. And the heart, it's a very tasty piece of meat, and it's very, 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 very inexpensive. And, you know, we should be honoring the animal by eating all the parts. So I never fear away from things like heart or brain or other parts of the animal that aren't usual. Cow tongue, we ate it on the farm all the time. It's delicious. Anyway, what else do we... So I got 2 pieces of cow heart. I got 4 Santa Muerte candles. They're $1.50 each at the international market. Got 4 of those. I got 2 of these that are a yellow wax on the inside, and then I just take the label off of the outside and you have a yellow candle underneath. 2 of those. And these are 3-day candles. They'll burn continuously, a vigil candle. Then I got some bay laurel, because the bay that I have is bay willow. You can use it for the same type of stuff, but it's a little bit different. So I got some bay laurel. I got some arnica flower, which I believe is angelica. I have to look it up. But it looks a lot like angelica. Or kind of like an Albiza mimosa. I got a bunch of star anise. And I'll be getting those out of the plastic and into glass. Bunch of star anise. I got thyme. 8 magical intentions to thyme. Big one. I got oregano. I got parsley. I got chamomile. This doesn't say what kind of chamomile. I have to assume it's Roman chamomile. Anise seed, black pepper, New Zealand green mussels, which we had last night for dinner, and then you save the shells for your workings, and you can make tea lights in them. They're beautiful. They actually are this beautiful green, almost like a peacock feather, like purpley blue green, that sort of color in there. And I saved those to make tea lights. I actually have a DIY from last year on my channel when I showed you guys how to make those. And last but not least, so excited, because guess what time of year it is, you guys? It's that time of year that we're making Methylene. And this week we are making Methylene. If you don't know what Methylene is, it is when you get a raw, unfiltered honey. Last year I used a Manuka honey. A raw, unfiltered honey. And look at how gorgeous this is. And it's organic. And you make mead with herbs. So it actually has an intent, the alcohol. The Fae absolutely loved it, and here's the little bit I have left over from last year because I made it for the Fae, and then I drank it myself, and it was so delicious. This is some from my last year's batch that I corked up in a really old vintage bottle for them, and it's kind of separated as you can see here, but that's the Methylene that the Fae have from last year. Keep it over here at my Fae offering dollhouse. Alright, so that's what we ended up with, and we can look forward to making Methylene. Now if you guys want to do that with me and check in on it, all you need to do is go out today or tomorrow or the next day. I give us like 2 or 3 days before we started on this. Yeah, Saffron, they have huge bulk of hibiscus at that international market in full flowers. I sell that on my Etsy shop. I'm able to get that for you guys. They have Mexican cinnamon, which is one of my favorite things to use because it crumbles apart. But this week, in the next few days, go get... It has to be unfiltered. That's the only thing about the honey. You can't use honey from a honey bear. A lot of that stuff isn't even real honey sometimes. Has to be unfiltered honey. And for this, you don't need any kind of... All you need is this, a glass jar, a wooden stick, and some grapes or a grape leaf that have been growing outside and have natural yeast on them. You can even just take a stick from outside if you're hard up for something. But I watched a video last year called How to Make Mead Like a Viking. And if you look up Taxidermy Witch Methylene, you'll see my videos. That video, How to Make Mead Like a Viking, is attached in my videos from last year. And that guy taught me how to do it. And it's an amazing, amazing video. And I can tell you, I was worried because I didn't want to use yeast. And I wanted to, like, do it the pure, natural, like, pirate way. And I did it, and it formed alcohol, and it did not take long at all. I didn't have to have any special spouts, just cheesecloth to let the air in and out and not let anything get into it. But I did, instead of using yeast, I used grapes from the vine of grapes that we had growing in our yard, and that white coating around the outside of the grape or the fruit or whatever, that's natural yeast. When you put that in there, it grows. So, really excited to make a batch of Methylene this year. You're drinking an alcohol for an herbal intent, you know. How much better does it get? So have a beautiful morning, you guys. I have a lot to do with my Etsy orders. I'm wrapping up 2 different 200 herb count bundles. I have a listing on my Etsy site. It's $125 for basically 200 samples of all my different herbs and curios and dirts and waters and things that I use and stones. So if you guys are wanting 200 little things to add to your collection, go ahead and grab one of those now, because that's what I'm doing for the next 3 days, is packing up these orders. Really excited to get that out and get more orders flowing in. So have a beautiful, beautiful day, you guys. If If you guys have any questions about what kind of honey to get for the methylene or what kind of herbs to get for the methylene or whatever, just leave them in comments below. Right now we're praying that Alex makes it okay to Texas. He's started his journey already. So yes, we'll close with a kiss kiss ta and thank everybody for joining us. Have a beautiful morning and I'll see you guys soon. Ta!